what I think about is the fact that he is the brand. It's not what platform he's on. It's not that he's on Facebook, not that he's on TikTok. All those other things. He is building the brand around himself.
$6 million is what they paid him. They didn't have it to pay him.
No,
they found
they
it.
said,
Like
we'll
they
find
had
it.
faith
We
that
don't
we'll
have it,
find
but we'll find it.
And I think they've probably made that back already.
Oh my gosh.
But I just thought it'd be a cool starting point today with talking about branding and just how being different and doing things different while being yourself can make all the difference in an industry. And I see Deion Sanders really kind of doing that in college football. I mean, he really is reinventing what a head coach of a college football team is, what it means to be that person to the players. And then the greatest thing is like getting his players paid. And David is he's on Team Boneyard, ECU, right? You're part of that whole NIL deal, so you have a little bit of information and kind of what some of those workings, inner workings, and kind of what this competition thing is going to turn into. But just kind of want to spur some of your guys' thoughts on like what are your takes on that, and kind of what does that mean? What does it mean for, I guess, for college football, one, and what takeaways can we have with just anybody in business by looking and seeing what he's doing with football?
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned off the camera, it's so hard to have another Deion, So you mentioned it's going to change college football, but there are so very few coaches out there that can replicate what he has and the brand that he's created on his personal level, with himself and being prime time and all that he's done over the years and in the decades, and that's been decades in the making. So I think that's going to be really hard for any other coach to replicate. But they're probably going to try. But I love what he's doing, and I think he's doing it. Some people might not like the flamboyant kind of way that he's doing it, but he's doing it in the right way, and I think he has the best intentions for his kids and his team, and it's pretty remarkable to see the attention and what he's kind of brought to to that university that went 1-11 last year, and now they're getting it was the most streamed college football game in maybe an ESPN.
I think ESPN said 9.3 million viewers.
The Colorado State game. So I mean, I watched it. It was and it was probably 1 o'clock on the East Coast here when it went into overtime. So it's pretty awesome to see what he's doing, and I'll be interested to see how the rest of the season plays out. You mentioned social media, and that's been a big part of what he's done. But I think one of his sons has taken control of that. So one of the sons, he has 2 sons on the team, and then I think one of his older, and it may be his oldest son, but one of his other sons, he gave a lot of credit to the social media. He was like, he came in and has taken control of all of that, and he's putting so much content out there. They're filming everything. They're putting it out there. You have sound bites left and right. And so recruits see that, and that's what he's trying to do. And he's getting, game day coming to Boulder, and he's telling the recruits, hey, I'm not hard to find, so come here and talk to me. So,
yeah, I like that he's getting the players paid, because they really are, like, a lot of them get injured and then they don't have any future.
Nothing.
So, the colleges were making billions of dollars a year off of the students. So now that the students have the ability to actually make some money,
it's pretty cool.
I think that
his son, I think, is number 2 paid NIL player right now in college football, $4.1 million in NIL deals, name, image, likeness. And so he certainly changed that world of things. I think is, again, I think you see this not just in like Deion in football, but I think you also see it in businesses, is that the businesses and brands that understand the power of content and using that content properly just explodes. And you see that even like with certain influencers and things like that, the ones that make and deliver a large amount of content on a consistent basis, they grow.
Absolutely.
And they do. And you've seen that with his football team, right? Like, so all the behind the scenes, and I imagine a lot of other college football people don't want cameras. Like I imagine like they probably see it as a distraction. They see it as ways that like, I don't want other teams to know my playbook. Who knows?
I think the distraction is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
And this, again, I'm not going to say this is an old time mindset, but it kind of is an old time mindset, because these kids live in this world right now. You know what I mean? Like coaches that are 50, 60 years old, the social media stuff, some may get it, but I don't think many understand like this is the world we live in. So I think players are much more comfortable having that around while not having distractions. And it probably more than anything is a motivator, but like, I can't talk this game and not follow it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
They can't. You also can't expect it to be the way it used to be.
Exactly.
So, like, yeah, it might not be ideal that they'd get distracted or not, but that is reality. And so now you have to learn how to play with inside that.
Inside that world, you have to be able to play in that game, and I think you'll start seeing other universities do that. I think a really good example of that too, and this is a little shout out to someone we always followed, was Max Renfro, right? So I don't know if anybody knows Max Renfro, but Max Renfro is an incredible videographer, incredible creator.
We just played in Boone.
ECU just played Appalachian State. And I always say this, Appalachian State was literally nothing before their marketing team made them something. And Max,
before they beat Michigan.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like when Max and his team, he's not there anymore. But when Max and his team was there making content, they were there.
I think he's doing something right now.
He is. He's with the Panthers. He's doing some
I
stuff.
think he did something.
Went back.
I don't know. He just did some video. Maybe they got him to do the intro video.
Yeah,
but I think he just did the intro video.
The fact that they let him leave that university and go somewhere else is just a dumb. Like you go back to the Deion Sanders. I will say that like. I know him very little. We had him here because we tried to recruit him. He made that football team.
He grew up in Highlands, which was
made
cool
the
for me to
football
see.
team and content-wise, and everybody's like pumped about it. Everybody looked forward to the jersey releases, all the pregame, and he brought, in my opinion, the energy to that football team. This really helped them recruit and turn into a freaking awesome football team.
That's I really didn't think about the effect that he probably had on that, but 100%. What the content that was coming out of their departments was top notch.
It was top notch.
Yeah. So
and you're seeing that with Deion.
Yeah.
Right. You're seeing these trends, and there's a lot of other influencers out there that are like business minded entrepreneurs and so forth that make the content. It's that good content. It's that real content, and it's a lot of that content to consume, and not being fearful of making it, and kind of drawing that conclusion between the Deion Sanders of the world or whatever it is, and then your own individual business and or brand. How important is it to keep up with trends, make that content, think about that, and then not be afraid of like what the current technology is telling you that you should be doing and should be involved in? How important do you think that is today?
What I think about is the fact that he is the brand. It's not what platform he's on. It's not that he's on Facebook, not that he's on TikTok. All those other things. He is building the brand around himself.
Yep.
So if one of those platforms goes away, he doesn't lose the monetization because he's the one that's creating the monetization, not the platforms.
Yeah. And to attest to that, he just trademarked Coach Prime, all his sayings. He just trademarked all of them for use. Yeah. And just like you said, he is that brand no matter where he goes.
And not even touching on the whole deal with blenders. So Blenders Eyewear, you want to talk about a brand and absolutely genius
opportunity.
Hats off to whoever at Blenders was like, hey, we got to get on this. And I don't know if Matt, so Blenders Eyewear is a sunglass company, and he's been wearing those sunglasses kind of since he got there. I'm not sure if he was wearing their brand, and I think he might have been because they look like the same ones.
Similar style, very similar style.
Yeah, and so they reached out and did a deal with him. They threw up a landing page, which I saw on D2C type Twitter. They were talking about the landing page was just an image. They were like, everybody that thinks that you need to have all this, fancy this and that. It was an image with a button. The button was actually an overlay, but the image was just the button, and you click that, and it was like to pre-order. They sold $1 million and something worth in a day of these sunglasses, like his kind of prime time sunglasses, the gold, kind of full mirrored sunglasses. So absolutely incredible. And what the press that Blenders got off of that just in that
and that was taking advantage of an opportunity because some of the beef at that time was between the coaches.
Exactly. Him not taking off his hat and
the other coach says, my mama taught me when I talk with an adult that I take off my glasses and the hat. And basically, so he called out his mama,
Yeah.
and then Deion like brought his mama to the team.
His mom came to the next game.
His mom came to the next game. And mom was like, "No, I raised him right."
Yeah.
And so the team showed up with glasses to give the other team like a middle finger.
He gave him. I think he gifted the whole team glasses, and then they all showed up. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
he built that and turned it into motivation. He said, you know, I don't get mad at anybody unless they talk about my mama or you guys, you know.
Yep.
And he was like,
Yeah.
he's like, and he talked about my mama, you know. So,
But just the marketing and the all that evolved around that comes from a machine, like you said, him being the brand, him having, you know, I think it's really cool to see him there. Like he's been in the NFL, Major League Baseball, all that stuff and all those experiences. Looking at his locker room during like halftime, and Little Wayne was coming out with him. You had the Rock there. You had
everybody.
You know, he has
Cameron,
Warren Sapp is now is like a defensive coach for the defense, and I mean, it's just like watching it. And I'm not even truthfully like a Deion fan. I'm not like really a college football fan. I'm just looking at it for like this guy that's changing it and how he's doing to change that. And then what you always learn, I think, is when you're doing something really, really great, your haters are going to hate hard, and because it's like, dang it, I wish I could do that, and because he's got it, the guy's got it.
There's no bad press.
No,
so the haters actually like
it just boom
it
goes
beats
through
the
the
algorithm.
and you know. What I'm really curious to see what happens is definitely they're going to lose, right? There'll be a game where they lose. How do they handle that? How do they bounce back from that? Is this something that's short-winded? Now, there is, I think, amount of pressure on the players and the team and the Deion and the image and the brand, all this stuff, right? Of like, you've got to continue to win to make that happen. Deion was also talking about his hometown, talking about making a difference by being positive and doing things that are just great. His hometown in one day, because of the people that come in for games, made over $18 million and to local businesses.
In Boulder?
In Boulder.
Yeah.
And so his little town, $18 million go to the restaurants, to the he's like family and friends are calling me, he's like, I can't even get into a restaurant. Like the effect that it has on being a positive influence in your community, you know, bringing a brand and thinking about others and growing others. And really his voice is about helping everyone around him, even though it sounds like it's a lot of self-serving.
No,
it's not.
It's not. No.
And so he's building that team all around him, and holy cow, what a difference he's made.
It's crazy. And you know, you're asking if it'll be, you know, just short-lived, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be for as long as he is there, because he's getting the recruits. They're seeing it. I mean, he's meeting with the number one players in the nation, the top recruits, and they want to come play for him. So
they do.
As long as he's there, they're, you know, just like he said, he's, you know, 4 or 5 dogs away from really making a difference. And the team is okay after watching that game. I mean, they're good, but you know, they're going to have struggles if they don't, you know, fill some gaps. But they will with what he's doing and the press that he's getting. So
yep.
I was just gonna say my thoughts are like, I forgot my thought. What he's doing. Oh yeah, no, I did forget it.
That's good. You know, that happens sometimes. You know, you've been driving a long time. Yeah. You know what? Another interesting thing that he's doing that, like, I think is probably, he doesn't have captains on his team.
Yeah, he's got leaders and dogs. Yeah.
So the players are dogs, and like he's got like 3 or 4 that have L on the jersey, not captains. They're leaders. Yeah. So that's another thing he's done that's different than other coaches are probably like, well, it's the same thing, same roles or whatever, but really, really neat. Do you think, long story short, do you think Deion will stay? He says he doesn't have any aspiration go NFL. He says he likes influence kids. That's where he should stay and should be. What do you think? Do you think he'll do that? Do you think when the money calls, he'll be pulled away?
I think that they'll be able to find the money to pay him. He doesn't need the money. So I think that that's not necessarily his main motivation. I think that with the conference that he's in, he'll have a much easier opportunity to make it to the college football playoff. I mean, if he was playing at an SEC school, he'd be battling, you know, Georgia and Alabama and all these other, you know, really tough schools, you know, throughout the season. So he's in the best spot, and you know,
it's a good place.
Yeah, where he's at, and I think he can win there. So I think he'll do it for as long as he's, you know, having fun and you know, doing well.
$6 million is what they paid him. They didn't have it to pay him.
No,
they found
they
it.
said,
like
we'll
they
find it. We don't have it, but we'll find it.
And I think they've probably made that back already.
Oh my gosh, yeah, easy.
So, anyways, that's Deion Sanders. A good little chat. Hopefully, we kind of brought that back to what it, you know, branding wise.
We'll revisit here in, you know,
see where it is.
6 weeks. See how it's going.
Done.